body was packing up, and I was having these heart palpitations and my anxiety was through the roof, and it's hard when your body starts packing up and you just have to keep going. I don't know, no one sees that. No one sees that when you sitting on the floor in the garage crying, like it's very hard and you have to pick yourself up. You've got to pick yourself up and do it again tomorrow. So I think that's very hard when you're taking a toll physically, mentally. It's all too much. So I had to make decisions in my life where I was like, I can't do this anymore. It's killing me. And it's so like it's just a cookie. No one's gonna die if they don't get a cookie.
Let's face it, life is complicated, and so is the YouTube algorithm. We put so much effort into each of these episodes, and I honestly love what I do. And if you could do the smallest favor for me, it'll be quicker than making a cup of coffee. Just hit that subscribe button or like and follow on the audio channels. Thank you so much. Sabrina, what's the very first memory that you have of baking?
Oh, the first memory. I think it was when me and my mom and my sister, we used to always bake as like a family. It was my mom as a chef. But then me and my sister started doing MasterChef at home. It was kind of like a stupid competition, but like we'd bake together and then my mom and dad would have to judge us. I'd always win. So but yeah, we used to do that and I used to bake with my mom and it was very prevalent in my home. Because I don't know, baking has definitely been my thing. But cooking and baking has been my mom's thing. So I think she did teach me a lot of what I know today. But yeah, she taught me a lot and it started very young, as probably like when I was 5.
What age did you decide, okay, now I want to turn this into a business?
Oh, probably about 2 years ago. I studied psychology, and then I went into nutrition, and then I went to go and work for Olives and Plates. And then I was their nutritionist for about a year and a bit. And then I don't know, I've got a family that they're all entrepreneurs. My mom, my dad, and my sister. So I think I've grown up in a household where that's definitely the way to go. So I've I decided that I was like, I'm going to start my own thing. I want to do something for myself. And I think you get so much more satisfaction doing something for yourself than you do for someone else. And I don't mind working harder for me. I think when you're doing it for someone else, it's a bit more tough. But I think I decided that 2 years ago, I decided that I was going to start my own business. And it's been very challenging, but it's been very rewarding. So yeah.
And I think obviously it is a little bit cliche, but you kind of have to love what you do in order to, keep something sustainable that you start yourself.
Yeah. But love's not gonna get your business to the end. You have to be dedicated. You have to be put 100% into everything, 110%. And I love baking, but I've also realized that every day if you do the same thing every day for like 10 years, you're not going to love it as much as you did in the beginning. But there's other parts in my business that I actually found that I love more than baking. I love the business side of things, and I never thought I would ever like that. I love the marketing. I love the um, doing all the financial side of things, like the website side. Like I think that side of stuff I really enjoy doing. And I don't know, I think I'd love to hand the baton over to someone else and be like, okay, you maybe focus on the baking while I focus on how I'm gonna build this brand. So I think I find more satisfaction in that than I do actually baking, but I love recipe development. That is definitely a passion of mine, and I will continue to do business like that. I want to develop the most insane cookie recipes, and yeah, but I don't think love is gonna get you can love it and you will. Maybe I do love my product and I love baking, but I don't love it as much as I used to, and that's hard.
And when you started in at your house, is that right? In your garage. And now you've developed your garage into like your main place of business.
Yeah.
What was that like in the beginning, starting in your garage?
So I saw everyone who had their own business had their little space, and it's hard when you don't have a little space that you can be creative in. So I was sharing a kitchen with my mom, and my mom, she's also got so many things going in that kitchen, and we were getting on top of each other, and I actually was like, I need a space, and obviously when you start a business, you don't have capital to get a factory or get a coffee shop or find something like that. So you have to make do with what you got. So I saw that like our garage wasn't really being used, and then I decided to renovate it. So we painted the floors, painted the walls, got tables in, ovens in, did the whole electrics, all of those things. And yeah, now I've created a space where I can be creative, and it's my little space, which is so nice.
So you mentioned also with recipes in the beginning, and you want to get inspiration for new recipes. Where does that inspiration come from?
Oh, I don't know. I think there's so many incredible people in the world, and people that are very creative with tasting and flavors and all of that. So I think I look for a lot of inspiration overseas. So I think there's so many creative people overseas, and they've all got their little coffee shops, and you look at stuff like that, and then I get inspired, and I'll just taste it, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You try again. And I think with all the recipes that I've come up with, I've tested it maybe like 50 times or 100 times, to get it right. And the stuff that I started with is completely different to what I have now. So I think, I don't know, I love recipe development. I love it that it's, I don't know, you can maybe pair this flavor with that flavor, and also doing stuff that maybe other people aren't doing, which is nice.
Have you ever had a recipe idea that ended up being a flop?
Oh, so many. So many. I think there was ones like with caramel, and then the caramel would just spread. It was just horrible. But then I think this was the worst of them all. I tried a gluten-free cookie. I'm not even joking. It was like a rock. I threw it against the wall with nothing happened to it. So because everyone was like, we need a gluten-free cookie. So if anyone's asking, I can't do it.
Get it somewhere else.
We'll just get them gluten-free rusks. But yeah, there's been lots of flops. And unfortunately my family's had to taste all of them, so shame.
Okay, so we've got a whole bunch, but we've got two of probably I would say these are probably two of your best, or the ones that stood out to me at least.
Thanks.
Okay, so we're gonna taste test these.
Yeah.
So first we're going, this is
This is the pistachio and white chocolate.
pistachio and white chocolate. And a lot of flour. Yo.
It's nice.
I love like pistachio ice cream.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
Thank you.
Mm.
So we actually did a ice cream with the baglios, and there was like a pistachio and white chocolate ice cream, and then we just like crumbled pieces of pistachio in. So good.
And it's so soft in the inside
Isn't
as
it?
well. Yeah. Like I'm not really a cake or cookie person. I don't have the sweetest tooth, but that is exceptional.
Thank you.
That is really good.
Thanks so much.
Okay. Now we're gonna go for the other one.
Okay.
I think
This
this
was my
I think this one could be the killer.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love anything chocolate, so
Okay. So Sabrina, what do we have in front of us?
this is a Ferrero Rocher Nutella hazelnut cookies.
Okay.
Why am I stressed?
I can't keep a poker face. That is the best cookie I've ever had in my life.
Really?
Hands down.
Thank you.
I actually kind of wish we weren't having a conversation now, so I could probably finish it.
But I'll just talk.
But that is exceptional.
Thank
like
you.
I think, and it's also those are different recipes. Like someone wouldn't think of pistachio in a cookie, and I think of cookies, I think maybe gingerbread or chocolate chip or the basics. And I think I also never saw cookies as something that you could turn into a business.
Me neither.
kind of it sounds like, and not to like insult you at all, but it almost sounds like something like a hobby or whatever, and to turn something that you're really passionate about into a business, I think that's incredible.
Thank you. No, I think I've met a lot of people that ask me questions, and I don't know. Sometimes I do take it offensively, but sometimes I don't. But when people are literally just like, "So what's your other job? Like, is this your side little job?" And it's like it's not insulting, but it's hard to hear when you poured your life into it and you do this for 20 hours of a day, and people are just like, "So is that your real job?" Or like they'll be like, "Oh, that's so cute that you have a cookie business." But it's like, you know what, like I think I've always told a lot of people that I've met is that like you can take something so simple and turn it into a brand, a business, something that is exceptional. And I'm still striving towards that. I'll never be where I want to be or at the end, I want to continue to learn. And I think there's so much to learn in the world. And I never want to be stagnant. I never want to just stay still. I think there's always improvements that you can make along the way, and you can always be better. You can make your product better. And I hope I can do that later on. But I think, yeah, I really love the fact that I can turn something into a business. And um, it's a good pat on the back that you can be like, I've taken something simple and made it quite cool.
Yeah.
Not to brag, not to.
No, but I think the reason I say that is because I think a lot of people think that you need this big revolutionary idea to start a business. But sometimes you can just take something you're really passionate about, and it might be something small, and turn it into something big. I mean, look at your Instagram profile. You've done at the moment like 60 odd posts, and you got 20,000 followers. I mean, people obviously resonate not just with your content, but your product and what you're doing.
I think on my Instagram, I do like to keep it quite light and quite light-hearted. And I think the world is very serious. There's lots of serious people, and I think I'm not like that. I think I have a serious side. I've got a very um strong, stern side, but I've also got a side where I'm like, not everything is as serious as we make it out to be. So make jokes of situations that might be uncomfortable. But I think I do like to share that side, and I think I love having a laugh. I love also promoting my brand in a way that's different. You know, um, I think also people don't. I think people do want to buy a product from someone who um, I don't know, can make jokes of stuff, and it's not just a picture. People don't want to just see a picture and be like, oh, that looks cool. But like, I don't know, create a personality for your brand.
I also think, and I'm no brand expert, I don't have a business of my own, but I think what a lot of brands do is, and for me, I find it quite irritating on Instagram or social media, they just kind of promote their product in your face and their specials that they have, and like it after a while you get a little bit sick and tired of seeing products and prices and whatever. um and I think quite a good example of that is also, I think it's the George spa, or it might be the Otaniqua spa, where they also like they changed up their whole social media page, and they started getting like actual staff to do like funny videos and stuff at the store. And they have like blown up on social media compared to just a normal retail store that's just showing, oh, the special for the week is buy 2 washing powders for 69 rand, like. Yeah, so that probably is actually not a bad space.
I would buy that washing powder.
But yeah, I think what you've done is you've kind of humanized your business, and you do a lot of behind the scenes stuff, a lot of funny videos. I love the one with the DMs, where
Very.
if real life was like your DMs, and you had one of your, I think it was one of your friends, I assume, and they drove past, and then they'd ask you a question like, how many different cookies do you have, or how many can I get in a box? And as you start answering, she drives off, and then asks
It's so
another
true
question.
though. Some people will basically be like, "How much?" And I was you like, "So we," and then you hear nothing from them. But yeah, I think it is. It's funny and it's good to be lighthearted. But yeah, there's also a serious side to the business where you can't just constantly make jokes. You have to also be like, "This is the product that I'm selling," and but yeah, it's growing, which is good.
What was the hardest lesson in the beginning?
Oof. I think I do. I think my business would be a lot further if I would have just let stuff go. And I say that because in the beginning, I didn't want to hand over anything to anyone else. I think I'm quite a control freak and I'm quite a perfectionist where I'm like, I want it to be perfect. Um, so I think getting help was very difficult for me because I was like, oh, if they're not going to know how to do it right and all of that. But you have to be able to teach someone how to do something your way, which is very difficult because it's taken me 2 years to actually like sort of master it and be like, how does this work and get systems in place. But I think I actually got to a point maybe a few months ago where I was like, I can't do this alone anymore. It's too much and I don't have a life. I don't have a life. My life is in the garage and all I do is bake and work and I never saw my family. I didn't do things that were important to me, and I think also you can't grow your business if you don't give it to someone else to help you. Um so now I got help and I'm so happy and so grateful for it because I couldn't do it alone. So I think if I had handed over a few more battles earlier, I could have been further. But then again, you say that, but you don't know until you actually hear. And I've got experience and I've learned those lessons, and you have to learn those lessons through very tough times. And I think I've got good knowledge now of like what I don't know, like what I could have done better. Um, but you only get that through experience and hard times. So
It
that was the
sounds
hardest.
it sounds like you can be quite a harsh critic on yourself.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's it's a good thing and it's a bad thing because being harsh on yourself will get you quite far in life, but it's also like you need to also look back and be proud of yourself and be like, I've done something really cool. And I don't know, I think when you start looking at your achievements and patting yourself on the back for that, I think you can get very far as well. But I think my my desire to be perfect is um you can't be perfect. You're never going to be perfect. But you can try to be better. Um I think that could be my problem. Which I am my toughest critic. And I think everyone who sees me and knows me and is closest to me can see that as well.
Have there been moments where you've doubted yourself as well on
Mhm.
this journey in the last 2 years?
Yeah, definitely. I think I even now I look at my product and I'm like, how could it be better? And is what I'm doing the right thing? Um, but I don't know. I think I've been put in this position to do something um, extraordinary, and I think I've even told everyone that I know is that I do want to be extraordinary in life. And I know that sounds weird having a cookie business. How are you going to be extraordinary with a cookie business? But you can do it with anything. And I think, I don't know, I eventually want to have a coffee shop one day, but I think, I don't know, I want to meet people and be with people and I don't know, talk with people and also, I don't know, make a difference in the world. So I think you can use something simple and you can meet people along the way and hopefully change their life, and give people advice. And I think that's a big thing is when you give people advice about stuff. You only can give advice if you've been through hard times,
True.
you know? So yeah, I think I do. I want to be better all the time. And I don't know, I think I do need to also just take a chill pill and stop being so hard on myself.
It's a tricky balance though,
Mm.
I find, because I also feel like, at least with the podcast and in other areas of my life, I'm always like looking for mistakes. So maybe I'll look back at an episode that I did and I'll look for things I could have said better, or I could have said that sentence in a better way, or maybe I could have transitioned to a different topic and the intro could have been better, my hand gestures could have been better, whatever it is. And I end up nitpicking all the things that I'm doing wrong. And then it's like you're not looking at all the stuff that you're actually doing well. And sometimes you might get friends or family or even strangers that are like, oh, what you're doing is so awesome. But until you really believe it yourself, you're always just going to look at the things that you're doing wrong.
But some people don't even notice that. They don't even notice the things that we are so harsh on. They literally like, I didn't even notice what you did.
Yeah, and they don't care.
No, they don't. But I think what I've learned in my business is that the critics and the people that are the harshest towards me and people I don't know, um, majority of them being online, they'll message you and they'll say all these horrible things and you'll say things about your business and I get very defensive over it because it is my brand and I've worked really hard on it. But my mom taught me a very good lesson, and she was saying that is there any truth in what they are saying behind it? Sometimes you need to calm down and you actually need to think like, okay, what did they say, and how can I maybe make it better? Um, so in the beginning, this one lady, she said, no, I don't like this about your cookie. And I was just like, what? I was like, that's so ridiculous. And then afterwards, I sat down and I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe I'm going to change it because I also maybe think that there is some truth in it. So I think you can do that, but you can't adapt your product to everyone because everyone's going to have a different opinion about your business and about your product, but you can't adapt it to literally every person. But I think what I like to do is I like to like the product. And I know that sounds like not everyone's got my taste, but I think if I'm not confident in something, I'm not going to put it out there. Um, so I think you must take the criticism, take all the hate, all of that, and then filter that through, and maybe get something at the bottom and be like, hey, you know what, there was truth in what they said. But also don't let all the other crappy stuff that
No, go for it.
people say get to you because it can get to you, but you also have to get a thicker skin. And my skin is very thick now.
Yeah, I think you got to learn how to filter in the comments, because sometimes, like you say, the truth hurts.
Yeah.
And sometimes there is a little bit of truth, even if majority of something that someone said is like very negative and personal, and you can kind of discard it. There often is a little bit of truth, and that's the part that hits us the most.
Yeah. Well, but you're always gonna get people that don't like you, and that's just the facts. But I think also, like, I think when you put your life online, and I don't know, put your life on social media, you're gonna get people that really take a hit at that.
And people are gonna say, "Oh, it's so cringe. Look at
Yes.
what Sabrina
Ye-
posted last week." Like,
Yeah. No, it's when I started posting like a day in the life. It sounds silly, but people love to see what happens behind the scenes, and it's interesting. I'm so interested in what people do in their day. So I started doing that, but people just nitpick like the smallest things about your life. It's not even about your business anymore. It's about your life and what you wear, what your hair looks like, clothes you wear, what all of that. And it's like it actually, at first, it hurt a lot, and I think there was days where I would just sit there and cry because I'm like, uh, "What am I doing?" And you put your life out there, but I think the more you do it, the more you just like you show people that I actually don't care what you think, and I'm going to continue to do it, because it's not for you, it's for me, and this is for my business, and um, I've also kind of steered away from, I know that sounds weird, but I've kind of steered away from doing a day in the life. And I've done more content on my product. Because I think I do want more of my product to come out there. But then once every now and then you'll get a day in the life. You see, people really have to see what happens nowadays. It's shocking.
what would your staff say about working with you?
I'm a battle axe. Not joking. Um, no, I think um, I'm quite, when I'm working, I think I'm very like focused, so I think they would say I'm very focused. Um, and I'm learning to be a better teacher. That is my goal. And it's hard. It's very hard. I think I'm trying, it's hard when you've never been a boss before and then you have to be someone's boss. And I'm very soft. I've got a very soft nature. Um, I hope. But I think to be stern and to tell people what to do, it's not my first instinct. My first instinct is to be soft and gentle and okay, no, it's fine, don't worry about it. But there has to be a time where you actually are stern and you say, okay, let's do this again. I'm going to teach you again and again and again. So I think that's been very challenging is to be someone's boss and to um, teach people to do the same stuff as you. That's been very challenging.
But I think it also kind of tests us to see how much we actually know what we're talking
Yeah.
about. Because when you're teaching someone else something, sometimes you have to explain it as simple as possible, and you might be used to it in quite a complicated way that works for you. But in order to get someone else to be on the same wavelength, you've got to, teach it in a way that works for them, that they can
My
understand.
mind is literally organized chaos, like absolute chaos. No one knows what's going on in my mind. I think I'm in a million different places at once, and to try and set someone on one straight path is very difficult.
But maybe that's what you need in business sometimes. A
Mm.
bit of rigidity can kill your business at the end of the day. If you're doing the same thing all the time, you'd rather be looking at new things, even if your ADHD takes over sometimes. And when you're on holiday or whatever, it comes up with a brand new idea. I know that that definitely happens for me. As soon as I'm ready to go to sleep, like I've got this
It's like, I need to
revolutionary.
do something. No, but I think I've learned that like I am all over the show, but that I don't know if it's ADHD or if it's just chaos. But I've also learned that the things that I was so I had to do in the beginning, like there was one order that was 200 cookies. It took me 3 weeks. It took me 3 weeks to prep for that. Now I can do it the day before. And I can do stuff on top of that. I can take phone calls. I can do meetings. I can bake it. I can package it. I can all of that at the same time. So I think your skills develop. And I think you also learn to do a lot of things better. And you can do so much more when you developed a skill. So I've compared my business to a year ago and what it is now, and I can do so much more. So I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, it takes time. It takes time.
I agree though. I think you need people to work with you. You can't do it all by yourself.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think one of the fears I have, and that has been actually really cool with the podcast, is that I've got a team that all understand the same vision, and they're all passionate about it.
Yeah.
And I think if you've got someone that's kind of working for you just to get a paycheck
Mm.
or something like that, um, it becomes very different. And I'm sure it can be difficult
Mm.
to find someone that's as passionate as you are.
Yeah. I don't think anyone's gonna care about your product as much as you do. Um, but I don't know, I think you can't expect someone to take as much care as you do about your product. Um, but I think the help that I have, I really do feel like they care and they really do want to see my brand be better, you know. And just going that extra mile is so rare to find. Um, so find that is it's great. But also I don't expect everyone to care as much as I do. Um, so I hope one day people do care as much as I do. But you're the only person that really is going to be 120% for your brand. Um, but you can find amazing people to help you along the way as well.
So you said to me off camera that the money that you've been making, you almost just reinvest straight into the business.
Yeah.
Why? What is your reasoning for that?
Oh, as much as I would like to take home, I think I'm very passionate about what I do, and I really do want to see this brand be bigger and get bigger. So I don't mind. Actually, that's such a lie. I do mind, but I do want to pour everything that I have back into this business because I want to see it grow. And as hard as it is to see people in your friendship groups and your family and all of that, they go on holidays, they buy new cars, they buy apartments, they have all of these things, and there's a part of you that's like a little bit jealous in a way. Um, that you're like, I wish I could do that. But you know what? It's also something else that you have to make a decision. And I've made the decision that I want to be a business owner and I want to make my brand incredible. So I think that's a sacrifice that you have to make now to reap the rewards later. So I think one day I will get to enjoy those things in life and go and travel and do all fun things. But right now I've made that decision that I want to see my brand grow, and that's a sacrifice I have to make.
So, what is the biggest thing that you're sacrificing?
I think it's not a luxury life. I think that's not really a sacrifice because I don't really want a luxury life. But I think it's hard to constantly not worry about money. Um, but it's also it's difficult because you have to think of stuff all the time. Like at 24, I think a lot of 24-year-olds aren't worrying about stuff like that I might be worrying about. Like I've got staff I have to pay, and you've got to worry about that. You've got to worry about um, adult life hits you. So you got to start paying for electricity, for water, for rental space. You got to pay for your staff. You got to pay for your stock. You got to pay for all the petrol that gets this from here to there. So like all of that stuff, it's hard to worry about. And when you're not taking a salary home every month, it's very difficult. To just live your normal life because life is expensive, food's expensive, water's expensive, rent is expensive. So all of those things come into consideration. You got to take into consideration. So it's very difficult. And I think I don't know. I don't expect to have this luxury life now,
Yeah.
but later. I will feed you on my private jet. I'm kidding.
And the burnout and stress and all of that, does that get to you? I mean, you mentioned you were sometimes spending 20-hour days just focusing on work.
Yeah. Your body takes a hit. It really does. I think I tried to balance everything, and that's such a big word for me at the moment is balance. And I'm trying to find balance between literally everything, between training, working, church, family, all of that. It's difficult to find that balance. But you're never gonna have balance. But I got to a point where I wasn't sleeping, I was barely eating, I wasn't losing weight, but wasn't eating. And there came a day where I was working and I had this like shooting pain down my left side of my arm. And I was like, oh my soul, am I having a heart attack? And then I went to the doctor and I said, listen, like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I was losing hair. It's just, I think you also have to put things in place and systems in place in your business where you say, like, listen, there's a 3 to 5 day delivery time. I'll try my best to get it out early, but if not, I can't do anything else.
Yeah.
So I also had to make it was hard business decisions where I was like, I can't work with this person anymore because it's too much for me. Um, and that's difficult because there's very important things that had to like also let go of as well in business.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't think there is balance.
No.
I really don't. I think if you love something and you really want to see it grow, you kind of have to commit a few more hours than you would a normal 9 to 5 if you really want to see it
No.
grow.
No. You have to do everything or things that most people aren't doing. You know, And I think sometimes going against the grain it's difficult. Um,
You also never get that validation when you're going against the grain.
oh no, people hate it too. They hate it.
And you've got no one to learn from.
Yeah.
Because if something hasn't been done before,
Mhm.
yeah, you've got no clear roadmap.
Yeah. No, exactly. I don't know. I do look at other businesses as well, and I'm like, how did they get there? You know?
Yeah.
But that's also hard work. That's things people don't see. Those are hours people don't see. And I look at my mom, and my mom is probably one of the hardest working women I know. So I've had that example. I've had that person to look up to, and she gives me incredible advice. She's so wise, business advice, life advice, and she's very tough. She's very tough. And my mom's that kind of person that's also like, you need to work harder. And sometimes she doesn't feel sorry for you. And good, because hard work's not going to kill you. It really isn't. I think when you, like, when your health takes a hit, I think maybe it can if you just non-stop all the time. But real hard work is not going to kill you. You know, it can only make you better. So I think that's a lesson that she's taught me. But she's hard. She's hard. My dad's more soft. My dad's also like, oh, just sleep. It's fine. You need a rest. My mom's like, no.
Sometimes you need both. Sometimes you need someone who's going to be the straightforward person, whether it's, parents, family, friends. Like, I mean, I've got one friend that he always tells you, like, the stuff you don't really, he never sugarcoats anything. And some days you're having a really hard day and he just says something and you're just like, dude, can you just like
What now?
for once, like, so I think there's times for it, but also at the same time when you're in a room full of people and all of them are telling you you're great, you actually want that one person who's gonna tell you the honest answer.
Yeah. I kind of get a kick out of people telling me that this is wrong, or I don't know, saying stuff that I don't like. I kind of like it too. I don't know why. It's weird, but it's also like it pushes you to be better. If people are constantly telling you that you're amazing, you just like, okay, yeah, but what's wrong with it? Um, I think also, I don't know, I do like hearing critical things in a way that, like, you just like, okay, I can be better. I can make a change there. But also the people that love you aren't always going to be the ones that say all these nice things. They're going to be the people that are harsh with you. Um, and I think that's my family for me. Um, that they tell me the things that I don't want to hear. And sometimes I'm like, I come with the most defensive, and I am like that. I'm quite defensive and I'll be feisty back. But then I'll take my time and I'll be like, okay, you know what? They were right. Um, so I think you have to also look at it from that side, is that like the people closest to you have to be, or not always, they're not always going to be the ones that are critical or say stuff is right, you know, or stuff that you need to hear. You sometimes hear it from people that you don't even, you don't even know, which is also bad.
But I think it's the story that you tell yourself that matters in the end.
Mm.
It's you can have all this criticism or even all this praise, but it's about how you feel about yourself and what you're doing that is, the biggest thing at the end of the day. If you don't believe in what you're doing or you're always doubting yourself and everyone else is telling you you're doing a great job, but you don't believe it yourself, you're never really going to be proud of yourself or necessarily get to where you want to be.
Yeah. And I think my dad said something very smart. And he was saying that you must always be, this is probably going to come out wrong, but you must always be the dumbest in the room. And I think what he means by that is that you need to be the person that's um in a race. You can't be the one that's the fastest. You can't be the smartest one. You can't be the fittest one. You can't be the most successful one. You have to be in a room of people that are more successful than you, and surround yourself with people that are doing better than you. Not all the time, not everyone, but like you have to be around people that are going to teach you along the way. And I think if also you surround yourself with people that don't see your vision, that don't want to be more, I think you kind of just stay there. Yeah. So like if you surround yourself with smarter people, you're gonna learn stuff. If you surround yourself with fitter people, you're gonna get more fit. If you surround yourself with people that are very successful in business, you're gonna pick up on tips that they're doing and make you more successful, you know? So I think not everyone, I'm not saying that like you can't ever be around someone that's not doing well. You know,
Yes.
that's wrong. That's not what I'm saying.
Or ditch all your friends
Yeah,
that
exactly.
don't have businesses
Yeah.
because they don't think
Yeah.
like you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you you just have to surround yourself with people that want more out of life as well, you know? So I think, but also on the flip side is that you can't always be around people like that. And I think also being a business owner and starting out now, it's very lonely and you're not with people all the time. And that's a challenge is that I think I've had to do a lot of thinking alone and coming up with ideas alone. And at first, I really struggled with that, but now I'm like, that is so exciting, you know, that I can come up with things by myself and I can make the decisions by myself. So you can also look at it from two sides. Is that either you can look at it and be like, that's really lonely and I'm sad about that, or you can look at it from some other side and be like, I don't have to respond or I don't have to report back to anyone, you know. Advice is one thing. I think I love getting advice from people and be like, what do you think of this? Or what do you think of that? But majority of the time, all of this stuff is stuff that I've come up with and my ideas. And I love that. I love coming up with new ideas.
So I've got one final question for you. What's your biggest fear? No, I'm just kidding.
Dying alone.
I feel like you're not joking, but that's okay. If success was guaranteed, what bold move would you make tomorrow?
I would buy a coffee shop. I would get the smallest little place and I would turn it into a little coffee shop slash restaurant. I think um, it's hard because a lot of coffee shops and restaurants they close down in an instant. But if I was guaranteed success, that's what I would do. Because I love people. I think that's the reason why I do what I do is because I want to bring people together. And I think I've seen it a lot in my product is that people will buy a box of cookies and be like, oh, all sat around the table and had dessert today, or I'm getting my husband something for our anniversary, or oh, we had a massive fight and I just want to get him something to say sorry, you know. And it brings people together, and it's not what it is. It's I'm trying to create something like that, and I don't know, I want to have my little coffee shop that people can walk into and um I don't know, just be together and be with people and do work and make it cozy, make it something like a little warm place that people can go to. Um that's just comforting, you know. That's what I want.
Well, we're in need of a coffee sponsor. So when you do open up this coffee shop, give me a
I'll
call.
let you know.
Let's face it, life is complicated, and so is the YouTube algorithm. We put so much effort into each of these episodes, and I honestly love what I do. And if you could do the smallest favor for me, it'll be quicker than making a cup of coffee. Just hit that subscribe button or like and follow on the audio channels. Thank you so much.